Why hello there.
My name is Shannon and welcome to my channel emovegan. Today's video is going to be a bit of a vegan 101 fundamental type video. I'm going to be sharing the pantry staples that I make sure that I have pretty much all the time, and I'm also going to be going over just some tips that relate to those staples. So the awesome thing about these ingredients is you can find them at most grocery stores relatively cheap, and they're pretty natural and healthy for the most part. Also, what's really nice about these ingredients is that pretty much any time that I find a new recipe I want to make, I usually already have almost all, if not all, of the ingredients. I also had this video requested, so I figured it would be good to make this now since I am still starting out this channel and I've already been making very foundational videos so far. I do have recipe videos coming. I'm actually going to film one today, so I hope that you come back to watch those. So I am not going to be rambling on camera the entire time, thankfully, but I went through my pantry, my fridge, and my freezer, and I took pictures of everything that I consider to be a pantry staple for myself. These are the things that I always make sure I have. I absolutely love them, and I love getting creative with these ingredients. So I'm going to throw up pictures of these staples, and I'm going to list what it is and what types of things that you can make with them, just to give you some idea of why these are really awesome staples to have. So we have some grains. I usually try to make sure I have rice, quinoa, and some types of pasta, although I don't really eat pasta that often. There are so many different varieties, and they have a super long shelf life, which is something that I look for in most of the ingredients that I buy. I also try to make sure I stock up on canned goods. That could be fruits, beans, veggies, sauces. Again, these things have a super long shelf life, so they're awesome to stock up on, and they're also very versatile, so you can get pretty creative with them. Potatoes. Potatoes are a fantastic thing to stock up on. They don't last forever, but they do last a pretty long time. Love to make sure I have some type of nut butter. My favorite is peanut butter. I like to have both creamy and crunchy because that is just who I am. But there's a lot of other great nut butters out there, like almond and cashew butter. Always make sure I have some seeds. I like to make sure I have both flax and chia seed, although I use flaxseed more often. Sunflower seeds are another good one to have too. Always make sure I have oats, whatever types of oats that you like. I usually just get a big huge container of old-fashioned oats, and this whole thing is around $3 maybe and will last me probably up to 2 months. You can do a lot more with oats than just make plain old oatmeal, so I recommend getting oats and looking up recipes that you can make with it. I wasn't really sure what to call this besides just like trail mix ingredients. I just have nuts and raisins, so whatever types of nuts that you like. I like almonds. Cashews are really good for making a lot of like cheese replacement sauces or just like thicker sauces in general. And raisins are also good to have to throw into things as well for some extra iron boosts. And I like to make sure that I have my favorite salsa on hand pretty much all the time. Obviously you can throw salsa into a lot of different Mexican inspired dishes. Pasta sauce. I always make sure I have this marinara from Aldi. I really like this specific brand of marinara because the ingredients are very simple and they don't add any extra sugar into it. Applesauce, because applesauce is not only a great snack, but applesauce can actually be used as an ingredient in a lot of plant-based baking. Plant-based milk. I used to only drink almond milk, but I've actually tried to move a bit away from almond milk and try out other different types of milk. So I've actually just been stocking up on whatever I can find at the store, a bunch of random stuff, but I actually really like oat milk lately. I try to make sure I always have one type of unsweetened, unflavored plant-based milk just to use in ingredients as a neutral liquid. If you're not a huge orange juice person, this won't matter to you, but I love orange juice and I love putting orange juice in smoothies, so I like to make sure that I have orange juice all the time. Cannot go without my chocolate ingredients. There's obviously a lot of things going on in this picture. These are just the different derivatives of chocolate that can be used in so many different things. They're all so very versatile. And these are pretty standard baking ingredients. I feel like most people have these already. I just like to make sure I have a type of flour, sugar, baking soda, baking powder, cornstarch, vanilla extract, whatever varieties of those that you prefer to use. Liquid sweeteners. Liquid sweeteners are also really good to have on hand. That could include agave, maple syrup, or molasses. I personally don't really use molasses unless I can't taste it because I feel like it's kind of bitter, but it is still something that I like to keep just in case. Wasn't sure how to categorize this, so I just have lemon and lime juice. You never know when you're gonna need those, honestly. Also not sure how to categorize these. Oil and vinegar of choice. I like to have red wine vinegar, apple cider vinegar, olive oil, and rice vinegar. Condiments, whatever condiments that are your favorite. So these are just very basic things that, most people probably already have. So I like to have barbecue sauce, hot sauce, sriracha, ketchup. It's not pictured, but I also like to keep vegan mayonnaise on hand. Obviously, cooking spray is good to have so your food doesn't stick to whatever you're cooking it on, but it's also really good to use as a replacement for actual oil. So just use it to cover the surface of whatever you're cooking, and it gives it that crisp without completely drowning it in tablespoons of oil. These are just the frozen foods that I have right now. Bananas. Bananas are huge for me personally. If you're someone who also likes bananas and likes smoothies, I'd recommend, just buying a big bunch of bananas, cutting it up, and keeping it in the freezer. I have a ton of frozen bananas, always. And just some other fruits. I have a berry medley, strawberries, blueberries, pineapple, and then just some spinach and kale and Asian veggies. Obviously, frozen foods are really good to have because they will last not quite forever, but pretty close to forever. This is just the fresh produce that I have right now. I don't really have a ton, but I have some oranges, some clementines, apples, and cucumbers. Those are just my favorites. Nooch, aka nutritional yeast. A lot of people who aren't vegan don't know what nutritional yeast is. Honestly, it changed my life when I found out about it. I know that nutritional yeast doesn't really sound like a very appetizing name for something, but it's actually really good. It has a natural cheesy flavor to it, so a lot of times when you're making a replacement cheese sauce, you're gonna need nutritional yeast for that. And spices. Just the basics like garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, oregano, parsley, red pepper flakes, turmeric, salt, pepper, all those things. As many spices as possible. You can never have too many. Some appliances that I find to be very helpful when cooking at home. I have a Ninja. I absolutely love my Ninja. I understand that these are pretty expensive. I actually got this as a Christmas gift. I could not have afforded to buy it for myself, but it is a life changer. If you want a really nice blender that is going to last a while, I do recommend investing in one. It's definitely worth the money. And the blender can be useful for so many things. Anytime that you need to blend up something for a smoothie or for a sauce or a dip, you don't really want something low quality that's going to turn your mix into just a chunky mess. Air fryer. I understand that this is also something that can get a little pricey. If you get a smaller one, it's really not that expensive. I actually got super lucky and I found this at a garage sale for $10, and I use it literally all the time. Anything that you want to be crispy, just throw it in the air fryer. A food processor. A food processor is really good for making batters. You can also make homemade ice cream out of bananas. If you make ice cream with the food processor, it really helps to give it that thickness that is so wonderful about ice cream. Also really good for just chopping and mixing things. The thing I would say is the biggest difference between this as a blender is you don't need liquid for it to work. And a food chopper is honestly just a smaller version of a food processor. I like to have both, and these little cuties are not that expensive. And this is just something super random if you're a person who likes avocados and you want to start using avocados at home, but you don't really know an easy way to get to the avocado goodness on the inside. I got this knife on Wish, I believe, for $1, and it has changed my life. All right, and then these are just some tips that I find to be helpful, when you are trying to shop for more natural and plant-based foods. I recommend buying in bulk or by the pound. It's cheaper in the long run this way. Obviously, you can help save on the amount of packaging and plastic and waste that is caused by those products if you buy them just individually every single time you need them. Really recommend freezing your produce if it's something that you don't plan to use it fresh and you're not really sure when you want to use it. Freeze it. If you're really not sure what types of plant-based milks you like and you're just trying out new ones, or if you don't really use plant-based milk that often, I would recommend buying them in the smaller boxed cartons rather than the big ones that are in the refrigerated section. The smaller ones are a little bit cheaper, and obviously you're not going to waste as much if you don't use all of it. And I recommend just sticking to the basics to save money. That is like your beans and rice and pasta and canned fruits and veggies. Those are the more natural and healthy foods anyways, and they're also the cheapest. The only way that veganism gets expensive really fast is if you're constantly buying the mock meats and the cheese alternatives and, you know, just all of the vegan versions of animal-based products. They're cheaper than they once were, which is really great that the prices are actually going down on these things, but they can still get pretty expensive if you buy them all the time. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it was very informational for you and just kind of give you more of an idea of what basic, simple, cheap, and healthy ingredients that are good to stock up on. Whether you're already vegan or whether you're looking to incorporate more plant-based and vegan products into your lifestyle. Either way, I hope that this video helped you some way, somehow. So again, thank you for watching. I hope that you're all staying safe and healthy out there, and I will see you next time. Bye.